Greetings.
Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Hello. Hello.
goodness gracious. It's your boy Easy.
It's your boy Ryan.
Oh, man. And we're back in the
We're
saddle.
back in the saddle.
After a
Oh
million
my God,
years.
we both said that at the same time.
Same time. Blood of my blood. You know how we do here at
Oh,
Turtle
you know.
Soup. Well, if you're new
You know how it
here,
be.
this is Turtle Soup, the internet, the world, the universe, the galaxy's only community-supported podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it, dedicated to the ongoing journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the way from the beginning until the King of all Cosmos tells the prince to roll up a Katamari made only of the best Turtles podcast in the world. And then that'll be it. That's it.
Oh,
because we're done.
That's all. Because they'll just wrap us up, and
they'll just and then we're a planet, our own star or planet or whatever.
That'd be hot.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So I figure, what a way to go. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great way to go out.
Great way to go out. So, yeah. So again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to everyone here live on YouTube. And, we really appreciate that. If you're new here or if you're old here, even if you're not here, come here and subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. Cause I know you hear about it all the time on YouTube, but it really does help.
Get on that YubTubs, man.
Come
check out the show on YouTube.
Yeah. And so, we really appreciate it. And, let's see. What else is there, Ryan? It's been a minute, so I'm getting used to it. So this episode, I just remembered, we have to tell everyone about this. This episode.
Y'all got to know about it.
You got to know about it because it means a lot to us. And that's our patrons. We have a Patreon. You can go over there, throw some pennies our way. And these two have been throwing pennies our way for a long time. You know what I mean? They've been making it rain and really helping to support us in a lot of ways.
Helping us not say clang.
Not say clang. You almost said
Zero
clang. But no, but then
I came close.
You came close. But then I think you told me, you drew a picture. You sent me it on my phone. I don't have it right now, but it was a picture of you, it was like you as Wolverine in the bed, holding the picture. Yep. But it was these two patrons specifically that were there.
That's true.
And it was
Brian. That's how I woke up this morning.
That's how
I was reclining with one arm behind my back.
Right.
And I had this picture. And I woke up. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's them boys.
It's them boys. It's Brian Bales.
That's how I woke up.
Brian Bales and Evan Roberts. There you go. So
Boom,
you were in that picture.
I was already in that situation, man. I don't know how I came to be there, but it was a great thing to wake up to.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who listen to the podcast the next day, you're going to get to wake up to us reviewing some episodes of Next Mutation, Ryan. Why don't you tell me about that?
We are back in February 20th and 27th of 1998, respectively, reviewing Unchain My Heart, Part 3 and Part 4. We get to finally come back to Van Mee and all of our vampire friends and kids and Bone Steel and all that good stuff.
The whole gang's here.
The whole gang's here. This is episode 15 and 16 of the show. And we're doing these 2 episodes at a time. If you're with us on YouTube, for the time being, we're kind of not doing the pregame show, just so we can make sure we get this episode in before it gets all too late and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the pregames ain't over. You know what I mean? It's just right now we're trying to focus on getting caught back up and trying to accelerate the pace on the show so that we can get through this and into some of the stuff from the turn of the century.
Yeah, which we're almost there.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Also, so normally we have emails. We have 2 very awesome emails. They are quite long from Grady and Robbie. We're going to read those on a mailbag because they are very in-depth and awesome. But once again, don't necessarily have time to read them here. So we do mailbag episodes on our chef specials on YouTube. So if you're a podcast listener and you send a longer email, it's probably going to go on one of those where we can dedicate a little bit more time to it.
Yeah.
So make sure to check YouTube for those.
Yes. And Robbie, we got your package, but I got to give it to Ryan and I want him to open it and then we'll talk about it on the show when we both have it. So,
we also have an exchange to do with John Clemens stuff too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We do.
Yeah. So we got to meet up somewhere in the valley, the desert, in the corner, away from suspicious eyes.
Yes, absolutely.
Where we can make our exchange and have our sword duel that figures out who dies. So that's the other one.
That's the other way. That's the only way.
I was trying to train up right now.
Oh, that's
my main thing.
Of course.
What's been your main thing lately, buddy?
Dude,
how you been, buddy?
Dude, I've been Really well, actually. Surprisingly, it's weird to say that out loud. Like I'm
Yeah,
normally you
right.
say I'm doing okay, but no, I've
I'm
been
all
doing
right, yeah.
great. I've been finding different things on TikTok that have kind of now it might be that thing where you're in an echo chamber and you hear really positive things that it's actually working the opposite
Yeah.
than it normally does, but just hearing a lot of things that just have made me feel better about who I am and artistically,
Oh,
creatively, and just in every
nice.
situation that defines me. And
Hmm.
so that's been neat. Just finding out that you're not the only one in this situation. That it's funny how much that helps knowing that you're not
Yeah.
alone, and that's really cool. But speaking about people that were alone, we've been watching Battlestar, my wife and I, Shannon.
Oh,
Yeah, so
let's go.
we just watched last night. We watched the Resistance shorts, so we're right between
Oh,
season 2
beautiful.
and 3, and
Oh, love
yeah,
season 3.
yeah, that's that's what I'm
Season
saying.
3 is a whole nother thing. I
It is,
love that show so much. It
yeah,
is so good.
dude. I have been so giddy watching it that like it's almost like an out of body experience in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I
Oh, yeah.
realize I'm excited just like a kid on Christmas would be. And so
That's
it's
so
been
good.
fun. And she's been enjoying it for the most part. She is very irritated. She's very done with the whole Gaius and Caprica that's in his head. She's
yeah.
she's totally over
That's
that.
yeah.
And
They have their little asides, and it
yeah,
usually takes a little while. And it's like, well, Gaius is God's will. And he's like,
right,
what?
right.
What are you talking about? And you're like, yeah.
But yeah, we've been watching that, and then our good friend Terry came over with his girlfriend, and we watched a movie. So there's a little story behind this movie. Sorry if I weirded out my ear. It sounded like everything went deaf for a second there, and I was like, am I
Yeah, you
like
got your
am I
ears
stroke
in. Hey,
happening right
boys.
now?
We're not doing headphones.
Yeah,
You got those in ears. He's on those in ears.
I know. So they came over and they because they wanted to show me a movie, and they prefaced it with like, okay, so 88, 89, John Hughes goes to France, and he's on
Okay.
vacation, and there is just so happens to be a movie festival, a film festival going on, and allegedly a certain movie was being played there called, now this is the English title if I'm not mistaken. It is Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus. And so yeah,
That's pretty good. That sounds like a movie we'd make.
it does. And
Yeah.
essentially it is about a homicidal Santa that is trying to kill a small child and his grandfather in their home alone on Christmas Eve. And
Okay.
we watched it. It's in French, but like
Yeah.
it's not, there's not a lot of dialogue, so you can pick up
Yeah.
what's going on, so it's not that bad. And and it's amazing. So that was like 88, 89. And so then 90 comes around and we get the movie Home Alone, and apparently this was the inspiration for that.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of similarities in it, but it was very entertaining, and not that I doubted it coming from Terry, but
Sure.
still it was neat. And so we watched that, and then I've just been playing a ton of The Witcher. Have you ever played The Witcher?
I tried to play Witcher 3, and I don't know why, but I stopped.
Oh man,
I don't know if I just didn't get into it, or
Yeah.
something weird happened.
yeah, I that's the one I'm playing, and I'm enamored with it. Like I played it when it the all the DLC and everything came out, and they're like, you get it for $10. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so I got it then,
Nice.
and I loved it. But then I stopped for a couple years or something, and I just decided to play it up again and just see what happens. And I've been enamored with it. But I was talking about it before the show that my wife, as well as Farmer Greg, two people that mean the world to me, they do not share your and I's passion of repetition. Like we love it. We can just keep getting into it. Well, the music that they play in that game, especially if you're in like a populated city, it's just on repeat, and I'm like immersed and enamored.
You're immersed. Yeah, you're fully immersed in it.
But my wife said the other room just like hearing the same song over and over and over again, and I'm like,
oh my god.
She's like, please don't play that game again. And I'm like, all right, I get it. You know, she wasn't being a bitch or nothing, or like being like bitchy or just a jerk or anything. She was just being like, no, please don't. Like, and then once another out of body experience, like I was like, oh, if I get it now. Yeah, no. can't, because I lived through that. I don't with you having a brother and Shane, y'all probably shared a lot of the same musical interest and things and tastes that growing
absolutely.
up. So I had a sister who was obsessed with pop music, specifically Hanson and who was it? Oh, well, the NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all that. So I heard all that nonstop, not just their music, but their documentaries, like all of their interviews and everything. So it was one of those moments where I realized how the shoe fits on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And
I know what you're saying.
It kind of triggered me. So I was like, oh no, I got it. So I was like, I gave it a few days, and I was like, hey, you mind if I pop back in? She's like, oh no, you're good, you're good. So yeah, so that's what
pop those headphones on, bro.
I could.
Why turn that headphone plan, bro?
That was the
you can get more immersed, bro.
That's true. That was plan B. If she was like,
that'd be my answer, dead ass.
Right.
If my wife said like, could you not play that again? I'd be like, headphones.
Right.
And I will play it again.
I think the part I skipped was that I didn't have time to play in between the incidents. So when I was ready to play again, I was like, let me just see if it would bother her. But then, but that was plan B. If she was going to say, please not, then like just pop them in.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Yeah. And so, but then I'm scared because then if I have them in if they're closer, if they're just directly like DI, just in me, like, I don't know. I just might be going around with two swords, just like, taking care of
life.
Yeah, just taking contracts from people in the neighborhood. Like, you need me to go find your dead relatives.
You'll just like be playing the game. You'll wake up and like look down and like you'll just be like emaciated, like like soiled yourself. And, you're like, oh my god, like I just been here for days.
Yeah,
and then Shannon's like just there.
She
just let that happen.
She's just like, yeah, he's doing what he loves. He's doing what he
seem really into that game.
He's really into it. So
I recently picked up so I've been playing a lot of video games too.
Yeah.
So went through Fire Emblem Three Houses again. Just to run that back because that's such a damn good game.
Did you now you've played all the
I've played
houses,
all houses.
Right?
This is my fourth playthrough.
Okay.
I went back to the Blue Lions, which was my Mama Duck. That was where I started. And had a great time. Got my girl Petra. You have to get Petra.
Yeah.
She is so well. First of all, she's like the cutest character in the game to me.
Oh,
I mean, she's just amazing.
Yeah,
like the way she speaks. So she can't really speak English,
but
she like puts the words in different orders. Like I love that.
Yeah.
And man, you make her a Wyvern Lord, and she just kills. You just throw her out in the middle of like because if you guys don't know, Fire Emblem is a turn-based combat game, which I love. I love turn-based combat. Too. Like it's like a child of mine. It's like my third child. Actually, probably my firstborn because I love turn-based combat like in XCOM and stuff in Final Fantasy before my kids were even born.
Do you have a stocking for turn-based?
It's turn-based combat. Yeah, I probably should honestly. And it's the biggest one,
right? Oh, of course, it has to be. Yeah.
So I went through and did that, and so you throw Petra out in the middle of enemies, and they just attack her, and she just counter kills them.
Oh, nice.
She doesn't get hit because she's on a Wyvern, so she just evades.
Yeah,
and then just like does 46.
Right, just done,
and crits a third of the time.
Yeah,
and you're just like, she's like, for brigand, and you're like, you're like, oh shit. So it did that. And then I was like, oh man, I kind of feel like playing something on like the PS5 now. So I picked up Final Fantasy 16, the newest one.
Yeah.
And I played 15. And I don't know if you've played any of those.
No, not that really. I've seen Farmer Greg play it, but
15 was interesting because it was set in like a modern world.
Okay.
You had like a car and like it could fly.
That's
and, like,
right.
You ran around and like it had like urban areas. It was like really interesting. This game is a complete return back to like dark fantasy. Like it is the first M-rated Final Fantasy. By the way. And I mean, people are cursing and there's all kind of crazy shit going on. My only criticism, and I really like it, my only criticism of it is, first of all, Final Fantasy hasn't been turn-based in quite a little while.
Yeah.
It moved into like action RPG.
Right.
Not a lot of RPG to it. Like coming from a guy who's more like Mass Effect video game RPG, action RPG, where literally like all your choices matter. This is like on the rails, but it's a great story and the combat's really fun.
Yeah,
but you're kind of on the rails from stuff. I think I in general enjoy it less than I did 15 because 15 was open world and this isn't really open world. But it's still really good.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing a lot of that. And when I'm not playing that, I'm playing Fire Emblem Engage again because I never beat it.
Oh, okay. What do you think about that? Are you liking it?
About Engage?
Yeah.
I remember getting to the point where I did, and I didn't like it as much as Three Houses.
Yeah. No.
There's something about training up your your characters in Three Houses that's like really cool.
Yes.
And this one felt a little more like these people just do things.
Yeah.
So I don't think I like it as much as Three Houses, but I didn't complete. I didn't like get through it to know. You know, it's hard to say, right? Like
right
at the end if it's really good.
Yeah.
But I did like the mechanic of the emblems and like giving rings to people and like
that was neat.
Different characters can have different emblems and they kind of like combine to do different things. I did like that aspect. So I think I just need to go through back through it again and really give it a shot.
Yeah, I got through it.
But I love Fire Emblem.
But Three Houses is just fantastic. I let
Three Houses
Preston
is damn near a perfect game.
I let Father Preston borrow it. He hadn't gotten to it yet, but I'm
we were
excited
talking about that actually at work, and I was telling him about Three Houses, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the one that Eric let me borrow." I'm like, "Dude,
yeah,"
because he says he's been playing a lot of Switch. I'm like, "Get on that, dude.
Yeah,
that'll just like suck up your whole thing."
That'll be interesting to see his take on that.
Yeah. So that's kind of been it for me. You know, I've been kind of like, you know, chilling, playing some video games, kind of trying to recoup and relax and kind of let my body adjust to stuff. So, yeah, I've been kind of been doing that. And well, that's me.
Well, this is the first technical podcast that we've done. So if anyone's curious as to what our hiatus had been, you can check out our chef special that's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And where we go into
go back to the most recent show special
about why we have been absent from the podcast for a little bit.
Been a lot of me with health stuff and mental health stuff and stuff like that. But I'm getting back. Energy levels still kind of down, but I'm getting there. So yeah, if you want to check that out, I tell the whole sordid tale. The most recent chef special.
So, and thank you for everyone who was on that and who chimed in and chatted with us. So we really appreciate it. And so, but now we're back. And I mentioned it on there, I think, or maybe I was talking to you. I don't remember. But so I was going back and listening to the old episodes and kind of like remixing them and doing some different things with them and whatnot. And it was season 4, I think it was, of the animated series. And you were on me. You were pressing me for that. Like, you want to do the 4 in each Prime episode, 4 reviews per Prime. And I was fighting it. And I understood what you were saying because you were like, we've been in this for so long of the podcast time that it just feels like an eternity and all this stuff like that. Like, I understood it, but like it didn't quite make sense in a certain way until now. I'm like, oh, we're at the end of the year and we're still in Next Mutation. And so that's
man.
Yeah, so it hit me totally different now, like, you know, however many years later. And so like you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we are definitely doing we're going to be doubling up at the very least to get through these Next Mutation episodes. So I'm excited about that. Cuz
doing a check-in on chat really fast before we get into content.
Oh, okay.
Robbie Xanados finally got to make a live stream, which is awesome.
Oh.
We've got Michael McDonald's in the chat, Jake Niehaus, John Clemens, of course, opened this bad boy up with Turt Down for What, which is tradition at this point.
That's how we do.
And everyone's talking a lot about deadly games. Jake says, "Man, I watched Battlestar a long time ago, and Sierra's wanted to watch that with me sometime. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so God, good. I love Battlestar so much. Like, my only thing, I think it's been long enough now. Like, Alicia and I have every once in a while we'll bring it up. We'll be like, has it been long enough? Like, we do it with that and Lost.
Yeah,
we're like, has it been long enough?
Yeah,
has it been long enough? I think Battlestar's definitely been long enough. Battlestar's been a long time
because you don't want to push it. You don't, because I did that and it was not fun. Like, I started it and I was like, no, it's too soon. It's too soon.
Yeah. You don't want to get back in too soon.
No,
you know what I mean? You need to let it.
Yeah.
But I think Lost, it might be a little too soon, but I think the Battlestar's Prime. I was thinking about showing it to the kids.
Oh, dang.
Like,
okay,
and seeing if they get into it.
Now, do you think that'll affect Kara in a certain way because like that's kind of
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's her, I mean, Kara Thrace, that's her namesake.
I mean, she knows.
The only thing
Y'all told her that,
yeah,
right?
she knows that.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she knows. Yeah. And then I say like, oh, but also Kara Zor-El because you know, and then Alicia goes no, and I'm like, okay. But she knows it. That's the only thing is that's kind of messed us up is we have wondered if we shouldn't wait a little bit until Kara's older. Like, do you know what I mean? To fully appreciate it and stuff.
There's a lot there.
So, there's a lot there. So we gotta see. But she's really good. I mean, we've watched like a lot of mature shows with them. I mean, like Umbrella Academy.
Oh, so she's already watched that
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, so then no, I don't think she'd have a problem with Battlestar then.
For sure.
Oh, she's
waiting for some of our shows now.
She's into anime and stuff too, though, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. We had a really good time watching. We watched One Piece. That was our last like family show, the Netflix adaptation of it.
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about the anime, and I'm like, you just said it like you watched all 1,000 episodes. or whatever. I was like, you sound like my dad.
One of Alicia's friends, like Alicia was bringing up the One Piece Netflix show to her friend who has some kids about our kids' age, and kind of said like, yeah, like it's really good, and you know whatever. And apparently, her boy wanted to watch the One Piece Netflix show, but wanted to watch the One Piece anime first.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, we're on episode 365.
Oh, my goodness.
And yeah, like, and I'm like, my kids tried to watch it, and they were like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But the live action show is great.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And it's already getting another season. So I think you'd really enjoy it. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff they do with character design, and the acting's great. So I'm a big fan.
Excellent.
Are you ready to get into this content, my man?
I think so. I'm a little nervous because it's been a minute since we.
I know it's been a minute here too. You know what I mean? Maybe these notes we're gonna see.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like what the story is.
I did some of my notes and everything, and I watched these episodes back a few weeks ago when I thought we were going to do the episode. So I went through the first episode real quick before the show just to refresh a little bit, just to be like, okay, I remembered what happened, but I just needed a refresher. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely watched it.
I watched the episodes today, and I was like, well, this is weird. So we're going to have to see about that. But are you ready to go?
I think so. Do you want to get into it so basically, or do you want to as best we can because we got two?
I can do that. I can do that.
Okay.
All right. Unchain My Heart, parts 3 and 4. This is the Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. We are concluding this little 4-parter here. As a bit of a so basically, effectively what happened was we have 3 vampire characters named Vam Mi. She's the adult-looking one.
Yeah.
Chi-Chu and Bing, who are a pair of young boy and girl who are also vampires. They have their voices overdubbed, and it's like super weird.
It's super weird.
And this story mainly focuses on Venus because the deal is Chung-Yi, who was her adopted father and mentor, who passed away in the beginning of this series, holding back the Dragon Lord from the Mirror Realm or whatever they call it.
Like that.
And kind of gave his life as a final thing. She basically decamped from China and came to the U.S. To live with the turtles. And she had an old, she basically does herbal medicine for everybody to kind of introduce this. That whenever they come back from battle, she's like, herbal medicine? Medicine? Like cigars, poker chips? She rolls around like that with her weird wooden box of herbs.
Yeah.
And heals people. And inside that, there is a weird looking root, gross thing that everyone says smells nasty.
Yeah, it's just in there.
Turns out, Chung-Yi banished Vam Mi from this mortal realm by separating her from her heart and imprisoning her heart in this box and sending Vam Mi to the ether world or whatever. See ya, baby.
Bye.
And Chi-Chu and Bing wake her up because they're like, we were bored. What up? And she's like, oh, I'm back. Shit, where's my heart? And
that's exactly what she said.
When she wakes up, the heart starts changing
Yeah.
in the box. It starts jumping around and escaping. And Van Mee, Chi-Chu, and Bing fly, just got back from China, my arms are still tired style.
Oh, yeah.
Flew that way as energy balls that landed as bats at a place called the Ambassador Hotel, which is a place that Chi-Chu and Bing had stayed 100 years ago when it opened.
Yeah.
So like in the late 1800s, which it doesn't really look like it was built in the late 1800s. Who's me? And who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's still buildings from that era in Chicago standing around. I looked at, so I mean that's all good. But yeah, they kind of stayed there, so that's where they're hanging out. Also, Simon Bonesteel is super involved in this. He's just all over the turtles. He is all over the vampires. He's all over the whole thing. So it's a game of keep away with the heart, okay? And that's kind of where we open up. Also, there's a ticking time clock for Van Mee. When the episode started, she had like 4 days to get her heart back or something, or she'd literally like be banished forever. And what this kind of led to was a ticking time clock. And so far in these last couple episodes, she's really been kind of like, shaking off the trail a lot. So it's getting more and more vital that she gets it back. And that's kind of how it is. And the focus on Venus really zooms in on these last 2 episodes, right? We get kind of the promise of the premise, a lot of Venus heavy stuff.
Absolutely.
So with that all being said,
that's excellent.
So basically,
everybody.
Yeah. No.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
Ryan Guy, everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right. So Unchain My Heart, part 3. So,
did you want me to take this, or do you want to do the first episode?
If you don't mind, I'm going to do the first episode because I was able to watch a little bit of it before the pregame, so I'm more familiar with this one. So
let's go.
So Simon Bonesteel, your boy. Oh, I love him so much. He's
set up, hands
down, one of the best characters in the show. He's all set up, got some weird gear on, looking crazy as per usual, and he's having a little monologue. I guess is it? This is a question right off the bat. Is it dialogue if the other participant is inanimate?
No, it's a monologue because 2 people don't talk.
But
if the guns were answering him in his own mind, it'd be a dialogue.
In his own mind. So okay, so if he hears from them, even though no one else hears from them, and they're not like animated or anything like that, it could still be.
It's not diegetic. It'd be a monologue.
Okay. I was just curious about that because I'm like, oh, that's an interesting little thing we can, I don't know, kind of talk about.
It's like when they do like one man plays.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Even if he's talking off screen to the dead or to his memories or whatever, like that's all considered a monologue.
That's still a monologue.
So this is a monologue unless there is literally spoken words from the other person. That's my understanding of it.
Okay. So, because I was thinking like, but what if Mildred, which is his one of his guns, I think it's this thing right here, whatever this is, if he puts his ear up to it and he says like what it says. Oh, you don't say. Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe I will do that. Like, I guess that's still a monologue. Like that's
it's still a monologue. It's
unless we heard it.
You have to have like at least 2 voices in a dialogue.
Right.
Like for example, in like in like whatever things were like like I don't know, it's where someone's like high or drunk and like an inanimate object talks.
Yes.
Like a dude's high and he's like looking at the couch and the couch is like, "What's up, Eric?"
Yeah.
Like that'd be a dialogue, right?
So like
even though it's like not a real person or a person on screen.
So like Little Dicky when his brain comes out. And
yes, that becomes a dialogue between the 2 of them. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Brain, awesome. Other shit though.
So good. That's so good.
It is really good.
So Bonesteel is just having this thing back and forth with his weapons, Mildred to be specific, about the turtles being bad prey with no honor, and he decides to start scaling down a wall, and we see that somebody's watching him, and it's your boy Leonardo, Ryan. It's your boy.
Oh, your boy Leo's
your boy's got a boner for Bonesteel. You know what I'm saying?
He does, dude. And, he's on the trail.
That boner for Bonesteel, and he's watching him like with these goggles, and he just says, "Man, I love being a turtle." I don't know what looking at other men scaling down walls has to do with. Like, do turtles do that a lot? I mean, these turtles do, But
I think it's just the fact that he's like apparently independently wealthy and can like spend his nights like looking, like scoping people out, like looking for crime. I think that's being a turtle.
That's being a turtle.
You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
That's what
being
they told
turtle.
us.
I mean, what he's looking like is like a prop from the original Star Wars movies, The Emperor's Eye. Am I wrong?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like put a hood over that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're done.
And that's the Emperor's eyes.
Yeah.
Creepy as shit.
It's Palpatine.
Like, yeah.
But he's so weird in this scene. But nevertheless, he's talking about that, and then we cut to a very weird scene where we see the bats. So we see Bing, Chi-Chu, and Van Mee discussing sunblock, and Van Mee from the windows to the wall just busted all over this dude's face. Like, just
I saw that and I was like, Jesus.
like it's bad.
I've been listening to this YouTuber called Wang. He's like very popular.
Okay.
And he does this series called Tales from the Internet.
Okay.
And I had just been listening to Tales from the Internet just before this. And he had just talked about this whole thing on Reddit where a kid got a Sega Dreamcast when it came out, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And he was like really excited, and then his parents left, and he was like, "All right, cool, time to run one out." You know what I mean? Like to some internet porn.
Sure.
So he's doing it, and like he like is about to finish.
Go number 3.
And he like didn't want to. He didn't. Yeah, you're about to go number 3. And he didn't want to do it on his keyboard or get it on his monitor, so he turned to his left, but his Dreamcast was there.
No.
And he like yes, and he like got it in the like open Dreamcast was like the top was open, so he got all over the motor and like the laser. So then he hits Reddit. He's like, apparently he's like 13. He hit Reddit, and he's like Reddit, like, who can help me like clean this thing up or like fix this laser because it won't work or whatever. And
oh my god. What?
And it went through this whole drama where like his mom like came home and saw it like that and like had questions for him and he couldn't explain it and all this stuff.
Oh my Lord.
It was just really funny. So I just got done listening to that whole drama about the Dreamcast, and then I turned this episode on, and like the second scene is this, and I'm like, Jesus. Like, and the reason they're talking about sunscreen is because in the last episode they were fighting the turtles trying to get that heart when the sun came up.
Yes.
And they all got like pretty burned.
Yeah.
So that's why like Chi-Chu is saying like, come on, mistress, try the sunblock. It's so cool on my skin. It's perfect. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then somebody gets something in their face.
Yep. From the window to the wall. The sunscreen runs down your jaws.
Yeah. Jeez.
So anyway, they remind us here in this scene that they have this is her actually squirting. I have a bunch of pictures of this.
No, you got into that one.
I forgot I had a ton of those. But yeah, they end up talking about how they have 24 hours before to find her heart. Like at this point, the countdown's down to 24 hours. So in the turtle lair, we see Venus studying where Don and Mike and Raph are trying different things on the heart. Like they're trying to like do any kind of experiment, any kind of like destruction that they can do, anything they can break it or whatever. And they're just keep going and going and going. And as Donnie starts hitting the heart with a hammer, Van Mee just starts freaking out and flailing for, we know why, but like nobody else does. Yeah. But obviously it's because she's reacting to the attack. The turtles then they then tell us that that they left it in the sun for 30 minutes and nothing. Then Donnie chimes in. With talking about how he's going to put it in the microwave. Still nothing. Venus chimes in, and Donnie isn't having it. Like he's got like a bad attitude this entire.
No, he's got like a really crap attitude. After pulling his best like Gallagher impression with like a giant mallet trying to like destroy the heart, like, in really dumb ways. He's like super shitty to Venus.
He is like just terrible, and I don't like it. Like I really don't like it. It seems there's a part of it that seems like it should be Donnie, like it's Donnie's character, but it's a little too heartless. Well, pardon the pun, but yeah.
Yeah, so half of me is like there's supporting evidence for this. In the past, Donnie and Venus have really clashed over science versus mysticism. There's a whole episode that's literally about that, right?
Right.
Remember that? There's a whole
Yes.
episode where it's like science versus spiritualism. This just felt incredibly harsh,
Yeah.
and it's obviously a mechanic in the writing to get Venus to decamp.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, but it's really annoying because it was like too quick. It was too harsh for him. Like especially when he's flailing, like he can't do anything about the heart, and then he starts like shitting all over her. It just didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense, and it seems needless. But then, like you said, yeah, it is to serve the plot. However, but his comeback was that Donnie isn't having it, and he reminds us that she believes that she's an expert on things that she didn't believe existed 2 days ago. So
about the heart.
Yeah, and it's like,
no,
okay,
that's just stupid. You didn't know either, Donnie.
yeah, exactly. So shut the
Nobody
heck
knew
up.
about this shit.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
So back at the hotel, Van Mee is on high alert, feeling under siege, and she's looking for something like someone else is in the room. Like she feels like someone else is there. And Bing says that she's crazy. He sits on a chair, and that turns out to be Bone Steel, your boy, just popping out of the furniture, and it's amazing. Like we
did that back at the old like studio we had at the shop.
Yeah,
there was like a really shitty couch, and like you could get like under the cushions and like sit under them, and like you couldn't kind of tell that there was a person under there. So like I did that. We had like a blanket on it and stuff. I did that, and it looked a lot like that.
That's amazing.
And I think it was Casey that sat on me. And he sat on me. I was like, "How's it going, big boy?" I tickled him. And he like freaked the fuck.
That would
he
scare
like ran across the room like
so
he
bad.
was terrified.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Oh, that's so good. Did you? And you said you looked like this, sort of, kind of.
I did. I looked a lot like that. I didn't have the steak in my hand.
Yeah, no, that's extra.
I had it was a pork chop. But either way, I mean, it all worked out.
It's all worked out. Yeah, same difference. But I love the idea of like thinking about how he got in here. Like he had to orchestrate this entire thing, and
it just reminds me of that thing from It's Always Sunny where like Frank like gets in that leather couch. Did you ever see that?
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
It's like one of the most disturbing examples. So Frank, they go to a party, and he wants the gang to lure these people that he works with into talking shit about him, so we can hear it. But he gets inside, like he somehow like cuts the back or he does something and gets inside this leather couch, right?
Okay.
And you find out that he had to take all of his clothes off to get in there and basically oil himself up to get in there.
Yeah.
So this woman, like, they finally get this woman to start talking like real shit about Frank.
Right.
And Frank gets so incensed that he cuts his way out of the couch, and it looks like he's being born because like he's like covered in like this like baby oil. He's like like spitting out like stuffing and shit, and like the woman throws up, and like several people like faint and shit because it's just so fucking awful looking.
Yeah.
That's my closest.
Oh, that's amazing.
To this.
That's amazing.
That's what it looked like.
This is wonderful. If you're just an audio listener, you need to come over here on YouTube and check this out because it's too good.
Him in that chair is ridiculous.
Him in that chair is fantastic. So he jumps out, scares everybody, and he proposes a partnership between the two teams, like between himself and the vampires, to get the turtles. But the bats reject him, and they throw him out a window, which is kind of like wild considering that well, I guess they don't care if he dies because like they're kind of bad guys, so I mean whatever. But yeah, they throw him out the window, and he's just like, oh goodness, okay, well I guess that's not gonna work. But yeah, so then we see Leo just giggling in a garbage can, just like very, very disturbingly, just giggling.
Yeah,
I was not exaggerating. He definitely has a boner for Bone Steel. Like
he does.
Because I don't know if we mentioned this in the so basically, but one of these episodes that we've seen, Leo was very, very upset that Bone Steel was getting the drop on them a lot. And he kind of felt like his ego was challenged, or his manhood or teenagehood. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and turtlehood. And so he studied up and read all these books on like different things, like hunting techniques and this and that. And this is what we're seeing here is the result of Leo's studying and his like, attempts at trying to best bone steel. So anyway, back in the turtle lair, we have Don and Mike and Raph are giving Venus hella grief for no real discernible reason. She just has a hard time reading the ancient text, and she says that the way of the shinobi is an internal process. And Donnie says, so is digestion, but it doesn't mean we don't learn to eat. And I just didn't know. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, dang, Donnie, like why? Like why are you being so mean?
They're all like once again. Like it's all a means to an end in the writing. It's just obnoxious.
It is. And so she does this thing with smoke and calls it smoke text. And Raph asks if he's just inhaled secondhand text.
Did you ever see the Get Smart movie?
The more recent one?
No.
Or the original with Don
original
Adams.
one from back in the day with like Don Adams and stuff.
I probably did, but I don't.
Do you remember the scene where like they're in the cone of silence, which like makes the words like into like words like on the screen?
Right.
And I think Don Adams like says something like you're gonna eat your words.
Oh.
And the next thing the guy says, like he forces them in his mouth and he goes, it tastes like mustard. That's
so
stuck with me like seriously forever.
I love Get
like
Smart.
I'll never get that out of my head.
Get Smart was
so goddamn good.
Did I tell you?
Oh my god! And go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna tell you, he shows up in that movie Back to the Beach. Don Adams does.
Oh,
and he's very similar to that character. Yeah.
Nice. I love Don Adams. Get Smart is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back and watch it because it's just so.
I
good.
do too. We should probably start a Get Smart podcast and just go do that.
There you go.
That's what we'll do.
The internet and the worlds.
Yeah. Only podcast about Get Smart. It has to be.
But every until is like until we finish Get Smart because it probably has like 20 episodes or something that we just watched over and over again.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. So yeah, Raph just worried about getting that secondhand text, and Venus, she doesn't like it. She gets pissed and she storms off. The audio has a slapstick like hits and audience laughter to make the scene feel less tense. Like this scene right here where she's just like mad and walking away like, oh, whoa, she's being a girl. And everyone's like, like all that stuff. Like they went.
This part has 138 episodes, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Now we know.
Yep.
But like the sound effects team on this episode were getting paid overtime, had to been, because they were trying really hard to remind you that this is a comedy. And not a draw,
even though it's like real crappy what's happening on screen.
Absolutely. So so that doesn't work anyway. In the automotive garage, we see that Venus talks about doing magic behind closed doors. So she goes to some like building, which turns out to be an automotive garage, and sprinkles some dust on the lock to get in. Which I guess I didn't realize that was a thing, but that's a thing. That's the shinobi way.
She's like, you don't want the shinobi secrets. Myself.
Exactly. Imagine if you did that on that kid's Dreamcast. That might have fixed his problems.
You act like y'all didn't have your dick in the dirt fighting Shredder, and you act like I didn't literally like destroy his mind.
Yeah.
Like you act like I didn't literally like make his mind kill itself effectively.
Right.
Like you act like I don't have that power. You're yelling at me about like, well, so's digestion, but we still learn to eat. Like you act like I did not make Oroku Saki mentally kill himself.
Right.
Like
just
whatever.
By seeing his reflection.
I guess I'm nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, the thing that you've been spending your entire life training to do, I did in the first like 3 episodes, two or three episodes that I was here. So
you had 9 seasons of a previous show and you never did get him.
Yeah.
But I did it on my first day.
Yeah.
So
without asking. Like I just went in like she didn't say, what's the plan? Are we going to kill him? She just said, no, I'm straight murking this dude. And that's what she did.
Yeah, I'm going to knock him off. There you go. Thank you. Look at your reflection.
Yes.
You're dead.
That's
Thank you.
You're dead.
And the Foot Clan just run away.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Just done. Yeah. No more.
Yep.
So, so she's in there in this automotive place for some reason, just studying, just all these like like just what are they called? Scrolls. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And my brain's like, no, those are the shape-shifting race from Marvel. It's like, no, that's different. Anyway,
No, that's
so
different.
she's studying, just trying to be a better shinobi, I guess. And yeah, we get this montage of Venus reading and learning the gang signs, and the bats somehow discovering her location, and they fly there. They get into a fight, and all this stuff. Oh, this is her doing the gang signs, by the way.
Oh yeah, no.
And so, yeah,
Where are you from?
yeah, she was throwing them up. But Venus starts to talk to Van Me and the vampires, because and they're reasonable at the very least. They're like, hey, I need my heart. Like, honestly, like I'm trying to live.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, like I just
heart.
cut to the chase. I need my heart. Venus throws more gang signs just because that's fine. They think it's cute. They clap for her. But
I like
really,
that part.
I do too. I think that's very sweet. However, they're patronizing her because what she's trying to do in reality is do her shinobi magic, and very little, if any, is coming out. So at this point, she goes, "So much for magic. It's green time," and we all know what that means.
Green time.
It's everybody says that. So, yeah, and so Bone Steel has seemed to have picked up Venus's scent, the female's scent, if you will, and he's outside the auto garage, and he goes in and attempts to attack, but is stopped by Leo, who informs him that he's been hunting Bone Steel this entire time, like just saying, yeah, like, hey, like I've been here, like let's go.
Hunters become the hunted, baby.
Precisely. So
Gaddy.
yeah, so they are just going at it. So they they have their own little tussle going on while Venus is getting it on with Van Me and the other baby bats. And tons of automobile car things, like puns, like a vampire must rotate her tires every 10,000 years, which I appreciated that, Yeah. And so a lot of the fighting happens, and just over and over and over again. And then you have the classic character throws tires around another character and stacks them up. It pushes them down, knocks over everybody else. Classic.
Oh yeah,
classic, tried and true, just perfect.
Oh yeah,
and that happens here. Something happens. Leo throws some tires, like I said, and then Bone Steel takes off with the heart because it's in a jar of some sort of plastic thing, and Venus had that when she was studying the scrolls. So so now Bone Steel has the heart. And Leo's kind of like, you know what? Like, we got to go. We just got to get out of here. And Venus is like, no, we got to get the heart. Like, that's the whole point. He's like, no, too late. We got a book. That's what he keeps saying. He says, we got a book. So, so they book it, and they book it back to the lair. And Splinter's like chastising the boys because he's like, what? You didn't think to follow her? Like, she left on her own, and she was mad. And she's in a town where we have people that try to kill us and find us and hate us and all this fun stuff. And you didn't think to follow her. Like, I'm right with Splinter, 100% with Splinter. Team Splinter over here.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And
Team Splinter.
Your boys are just like, well, she was being a girl, and Splinter's just like had it up to here. He's just not dealing with it.
Well, his reply is he goes, she was being shinobi.
Oh, that's right. He did
morons.
Yeah, like that's
like.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So at this point, Leo and technically Venus shows up first, and Raph is like, you got some splaining to do, which I think was a I Love Lucy kind of joke. Like, it was trying to be that whole pun or whatever. And Venus just says straight up, kiss my shell. Just straight up. Just, they didn't censor it or nothing. They left it in.
No.
FCC let it be. And so, Raph's just like blown out, like, oh, what? So Splinter's like, hey, what'd you find? Like, what happened? She explains the whole thing. And Splinter's like, oh, good. Thinking that she got some results. But she goes, no, nothing. I failed. That's it. Just, and I lost the heart. Like, just plain and simple.
Also,
nothing happened. And I lost the heart. So Donnie coming in clutch here saying, that's like saying you lost a leaky drum of toxic waste. But, it's... And then Mikey tries to come in with the line of lots of people lose their heart in Manhattan. So, whatever. But your boy Leo shows up and says, actually, I just want to let you know, in case I haven't told you all enough already, that I've been following the hunter. And now if the hunter has the heart. So if you follow the heart, the hunter is where the home is, where the heart is, and we're gonna find him because I've been following him. That's basically Leo's whole little line there. And he's like swinging his sword, like looking all cool. I don't know if you can see me on the screen, but like that's kind of
you look damn cool right now.
See how cool I look? That's how Leo looks when he's doing it. And yeah. So then they're like, all right, so we got to go get Bone Steel. So let's see here. So then Bone Steel. Oh my God, this that dog. So Bone Steel's having another conversation with who knows what, and he's got the heart.
It's like the little like capuchin monkey.
Is that what it is?
That they make sounds, but he's obviously dead. That's in the little swing.
Right.
I believe that's who he's talking to.
So now if it makes sounds, but it's not speaking the same language, is that still a dialogue or a monologue?
I think it would be a dialogue.
I think it would be.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating to me. Like, I hope that, I don't know why, but I love that. So, so upon arrival, let's see, they, then we get the longest montage. That's right. I forgot because I didn't have images of this because I was like, oh, this is way too long, but they had to fill time. So, So, the turtles are like, all right, so we're going to go to Bone Steel's thing. Bone Steel's, like you said, is talking to his taxidermy, whatever it is. And, the heart is, and he's talking about eating the heart.
Yeah.
Venus explicitly states that she has shotgun, but the turtles are just like, nah, we're not doing that.
No.
And none of the shots confirm that she's got shotgun. Further showing the turtles just total disregard for her and insult to injury, if you ask me. So then we get the longest montage of the turtles and the bats traveling to the hunter's camp.
That was so long. That was like the forever time.
It was. It was painful. It's like, oh my God. Like I know that I can understand a little bit of like, hey, they were getting in the turtle Hummer or whatever and doing that. I get that, for a little bit, 30 seconds or whatever, but this was at least like a minute and a half, I think. So anyway, upon arrival, they, and Splinter's just talking about like, I love the one good thing about that scene was Splinter complaining about all the weird shit that they've been seeing. Like, bats.
He's like, vampires and hearts and shit like that. And like,
just nuts. Well, we get there and your boy's just sitting there, just looking pretty, just got all this stuff going. He's got a little monkey in the swing, and upon arrival, the bats confirm that Bing brought the fireworks of war, which is this thing right here, which is a coffin filled with fireworks.
Yeah, this thing's a big nothing burger when it goes down. I'm like, okay, dude.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little looking forward to it because the way they built it up, I was like, oh, okay, okay.
I'm like, man, they're going to really use something.
They're going to do something, exactly. So, so once everyone's there, they realize, oh, hey, we're here for the heart. And they're like, oh, well, we're here too for the heart. All right, well, let's go get the heart. So they just all run at each other like in a mosh pit, like where they divide the sides and they're like, all right, everybody.
Yeah. It feels almost like a tip off in basketball a little bit.
Oh yeah, that too. And and Leo says whatever it is, whatever they say whenever the shell rage or shell, wherever they just turn their shells and like hit each other, like it's some move or whatever. And it's really dumb. So once the gang's all there, like I said, they do this thing. Bone Steel throws the jar containing the heart up in the air, and that's what all this is they're trying to catch it. Bone Steel cuts the lights. Now, they're on a rooftop here, because this is Bone Steel's rooftop lair. And they're in New York City. I don't know. I feel like there's enough light, enough ambient light to be able to at least see where you're at.
But like you're not going to fall off the roof, but I do believe like seeing finer details, like where the jar is probably not easy.
I get that. Yes. But they're acting like they're blind. Like they just can't see nothing.
Oh yeah.
So at this point,
not for much longer though.
Not for much longer. Cause this is where the fireworks go off and are really only used to help light the situation. Like that seems
it just makes it better.
It almost seems like it was written into the script as the production people are like, hey, director, this scene is going to be too dark. We can't film this. We're going to need something. And they came up with this idea and they worked it into the script. And
at one point, one little rocket I think, goes toward Venus and she dodges it.
Yeah.
That's the only offensive help it was.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's it. And so otherwise it's just showing everybody where everyone's at. So the antithesis of ninja and bats being in the dark using their sonar and all that.
Yeah.
Just throw all that out the window. And so so they really, like I said, they just like the situation. Venus again from the window to the wall, some goo on Van Me for some reason. Like
another Shinobi trick.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I got it. Just bam. Just
rather heard than the Dreamcast though.
That's true, because the Dreamcast can't take a shower and get that off. So
but that Dreamcast cost like $700 back in the day. When it came out. So.
Man, you were dreaming if you got that. So
right.
So massive fighting. Just keep fighting. Fight. And the turtles end up getting the heart and escape. And then Bone Steel net tosses the vampire.
Oh, he does. He runs that net toss plan.
Just gets them.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're caught. And then back in the lair, we got Donnie. And he's got the old safe opened up, and he's putting it in there. And Leo asks
where it should have been all along, by the way, but whatever.
Should have been all along, because your boys and your girls, they could have all avoided all of this if they would have just had some patience and waited 4 days with that in the let the vampires come to them, kill them in your own turf, and then if they tried to find the heart. Otherwise, problem solved. So but that's pretty much the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So So what'd you think?
I liked Venus's independence, because she went and did her own thing. However, she kind of failed. I had to admit that. I didn't like how the turtles treated her at all in the episode. It was such a step back to that boys club thing. The only person that kind of wasn't that way was Leo, because he was actually working the case and trying to find Bone Steel, and he dove in to help Venus when she got overwhelmed and stuff like that. I like Splinter kind of straightening them out for being shitty boys, frankly, to her, and not respecting what she does, namely killing Shredder, with his own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So in general is okay. I mean, there were some cute moments with the vampires, which is I think what you're kind of looking forward to, right? Because the turtles act like the turtles, but you want some funny stuff with them. And I think you got some here.
Yeah.
But overall, it just felt like a bit of a bridge episode. It felt like this episode didn't have to happen.
Right. Yeah.
You could have crammed the Venus goes and tries to learn her Shinobi magic into the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been the same. It would have been a trilogy instead of it being a 4-part thing.
That's true.
I mean?
I get that. But I feel like, and I agree. However, I will say that seeing more of Bone Steel doing his stealth and his espionage, if you will, or his disguises and all of that, I'd watch a whole series of that. I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, that was really good. I like that he's involved and it's not just the vampires versus
yes, absolutely. And then seeing Leo go full on after Bone Steel is awesome, and I was not expecting
that's good.
that.
That's continuity. That's building up on like you said earlier, Leo's kind of focusing on the hunter stuff. You know what I mean? Earlier, I like that a lot.
I did too, and I was not expecting that from this series, and I'm really glad they're giving it to me, and I appreciate that a ton, because it's giving depth to characters in a show that gets written off all the time, and I really like it. So I thought this was really neat. So you ready to get into cool. Unchain My Heart Part 4?
Unchain My Heart Part 4. You know what I'm saying? It is the thrilling conclusion.
Yes.
So we open up on Bone Steel's camp on the roof. You know what I mean? The sun's just coming up. You got his buddy Mr. Moogle or whatever his name is over there, making noises, but his mouth ain't moving. He's just dead.
Oh no.
And your boy drinking classic coffee out of that classic blue
thermos
mug, that metal mug they've had since the Civil War, looking. I mean, kind of vaporwave in the morning right there.
Kind of
purples and blues. You know what I mean? I'm feeling I can hear it right now.
I
You know
love
what I mean? That's a vibe.
It is a vibe. It is a vibe. I
That
love
looks like an old Folgers commercial.
It does look like an old Folgers commercial.
Some like rugged man like
Best
drinking his
part.
Folgers at the camp.
But the tint kind of looks like he's like in the desert, like in Egypt or something.
Yeah,
like it does kind of look like he's on an expedition or something. But yeah.
The best part of waking up is aliens built the pyramids. That's what the theme song would be.
That's what it should be.
So he's talking about how good of a morning it is. He's like, "Oh, nothing like a good sunrise." And then he like turns around and he's like got like the vampires all in a cage. And he's like, "All right, listen, let's reconsider this teaming up thing." And because the sun's coming up and they're on a roof in an exposed cage, they're inclined, to make a deal. Eric made a note here that why didn't they just turn into bats and fly through the bars?
Oh yeah.
That's a great suggestion. I wish they would have thought of it.
Yeah.
I bet you they wish they would have thought of it.
I bet you they did.
Yeah. They're like later on, like in the post game report, they're like, "God damn, really?"
Yeah.
Like we could have been out of there.
Like it's one of those situations like where you realize, "Oh, I wish I would have said that," or "Oh, I wish I would have done that." Like literally they're in a cage and they can fly out, but they're like,
no, it's like a literal like jerk store moment for them. And they're just like, ugh.
That's what it is. Where'd you get that? The jerk store.
They were, the jerk store called. They're running out of you.
Yeah.
Damn it. So back in the turtles' lair, the turtles are coming up with a plan to take care of our vampires once and for all, even though last episode they said we don't have to do anything.
Yes.
But apparently they're like, well, I mean, we got an episode to do, so let's go. So that's how Eric and I always feel at the end of every podcast. I go, "Eric, what do we got to do next?" And he goes, "Zilch." And then next week we're like, "Well, we got to do an episode." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So let's go.
Yeah.
So Donnie says that all the books agree that vampires have some sort of severe wood allergy. And that's how he explains with science the stake through the heart, even though to me, I'm like, stake through the heart kills anybody.
Thank you.
Like,
yes. Like hands down.
Like, I mean, it's not like, whatever, like Golden Age Green Lantern with an allergy to steel or allergy to wood or whatever it was.
Right.
But so Donnie continues by saying that they're going to sharpen some sticks, and then he pulls out a gun he made from a modified tanning bed to simulate UV rays.
Yes.
And he also has a water gun that shoots garlic water.
So good.
He is like, this is what's funny. And I hope this is intentional, but your boy is succumbing to all of the classic spiritual, supernatural, dumb stuff, but he's just putting tech behind it, and now it's Donnie approved spiritual, supernatural shit. Right? Like I'm watching this going like, he's got to be aware of what he's doing. Like
the cognitive dissonance of him like not realizing this is like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love Donnie doing this.
I hope it's intentional. I hope that he's like basically mansplaining spiritually and supernaturally and superstitiously killing a vampire. He's mansplaining that to Venus.
Yeah.
Like through his tech. I hope that that's the point. But he's basically like, yeah, I got this. And honestly, when it comes to the to the stake crossbows, that just kills people. So
yeah, it just kills people. Very few people are immune to that.
I mean, garlic water and UV rays probably aren't going to do much to the Dragon Lord's rank or anything. But I mean, wooden stakes would.
Right. Yes.
Unless they burn up because their blood's hot. Maybe
that's a good
instantly flash burn before it got to their heart.
That could be. That would be neat.
All right, maybe limited use. Maybe just purple dragons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that'll kill a purple dragon.
Yeah, those dragons you can kill, but the regular dragons.
Yeah. The rank dragons. No.
Yeah, no.
So we see we get kind of a bit of like a little Rocky training montage where Splinter's working with Venus on trying to harness her shinobi magic to shoot fireballs, and the turtles are using all of Donnie's devices, which look like they're obviously working really well. The stake guns work perfect, all this stuff. So the last thing we see is Donnie's last tech, which I actually kind of really liked. Actually, this is pretty smart. So he knows that the heart jumps around in the vessel it's in to move itself closer to Van Mee, right?
Right.
So what he did was he made like a paint can, and he put lights all around it.
Yes.
And whichever end the heart jumps to, it lights up the bulb, which tells it what direction. It tells them what direction it's heading in.
Yes.
I thought that was actually really smart.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was like really good.
That's what I come to the Turtles for. That's what, or at least for Donnie.
Yes.
Yes. Hands down.
It reminded me of toward the end of World War II.
Oh, yeah.
They were working on guided missiles. Did I ever tell you about this?
I don't think so.
Or guided bombs. They were technically bombs. They weren't missiles. That used pigeons. The Germans were working on this. They used pigeons in the nose of the bomb.
Yeah.
And this is insane. So pigeons can be trained to do some small tasks. And what they did was they trained, and this was I think this was for sea combat. This was like naval combat.
Okay.
They trained it to poke at light things, not dark things. Right. So it would peck at something that's light and not something that's dark. Right?
Okay. So something that's emitting light, not necessarily something that's light in color.
Yeah. Okay. Or I think it's just light and color. Either way. Just,
okay.
You know what I mean? It's just pecking at a light thing or not pecking at a dark thing.
Okay.
And what they did was, and this worked in tests, which is insane. They put a pigeon in the front of the bomb, and they worked out wherever the pigeon pecked, up, down, left, right, whatever, would move the air rudders on the bomb. And it would keep poking at the sky, right where it met the dark of the water.
Yeah.
And it would aim these bombs directly at ships.
Oh, wow. That's nuts.
With like stunning accuracy.
I mean,
they just literally, the war ended.
Say what you will about the Germans.
They damn near had smart bombs. Like,
man,
with pigeons flying them.
Goodness.
It's insanity.
It is insane.
That's what this kind of reminds me of, because it's like putting a little thing inside a vessel and then having it sear it, basically. I'm like, that's crazy.
I love it because it seems it's like you have the guy that, or the person that comes up with the idea and can make it work, but then you have to have a guy somewhere down the line, or a person somewhere down the line, that finesses it and makes it look better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, that looks, that's not ready to go to market.
No.
But it works. It's a pretty good proof of concept piece.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
John Clemens asked in chat, have you ever seen Donnie and Blade in the same place? No.
Oh, no. That's true.
But he knows about killing some vampires.
He does.
You know what I mean?
He do.
So now it's Hummer time. You know what I mean? And one huge montage.
Yes.
Raph rides on his bike 'cause he's better than everybody.
Of course.
And on the way there, we see that the bats are also headed somewhere. Like they're kind of departing, and it feels almost like it's working, right?
Yes.
Like that the heart's out, which is how Van Mee, weirdly, if the heart goes out into the open, like in the street or in that mechanic shop or whatever, like above ground, she knows where it is. But if it's underground,
she can't. Yeah, that's very
she just
strange.
feels it around the city, basically. But I guess it might be like direct line of sight or like a radio signal. I don't know. Either way, so upon arrival, we welcome to the Slaughter Dome is what this next chapter is called, right? Yes. So upon arriving at this place under a bridge, that the little heart box like led them to, the Turtles and Splinter gear up and they start tracking the vampires around.
Yes.
They end up getting some lights turned on them, and apparently it's a whole staged thing that Bone Steel has set up.
Yes.
He has these these big like flashlights, like work lights, and he's like, "Welcome to the Slaughter Dome." It's like bad as hell.
It's so
and
good.
It's got him, and he's looking like some Mad Max shit, and like also Skinny Puppy. And then you've got like Van Mee, Chi-Chu, and being like lined up. And like, I love these. I love this whole set of people. Like,
it's so good.
In this moment, I loved them so much. Like, I don't know what it was. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about this.
They came together and they put on, not only did they team up to achieve a goal, but they put on a show. You know what I'm saying? And that's just A's all around. Just perfect.
It's A's all around. But this is like my other favorite part of the episode.
Okay.
So the Turtles deploy the weapons. Yes. Like, we've been training with these, and Donnie's a genius, dude.
Yeah.
So the first shot they do, like it goes 1, 2, 3. The vampire's dicks are in the dirt.
Yes.
And they're like, solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then the vampires get up and they're like, yeah, that's horseshit.
Yep.
And they're like, that's right. The tanning gun. I think it's Donnie tries to turn the tanning gun on Chi-Chu.
Yes.
And she's like, it's just real sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't do tanning bed shit. That doesn't matter.
We are
he's like,
immune to tanning
we are
beds.
Immune to tanning beds.
I love that. I love that
like
they
Trump
know
should
that.
be immune to tanning beds at this point. I mean,
of course.
Like, he's probably radioactive, man. But
absolutely. But I love that they know that.
Yes, they know. At her face in that, like, I gotta give the kids credit.
Oh, they're
like
great.
They're so good.
They are. They eat it up. They chew the scenery, but it's fantastic.
I really hate that. I understand why they overdub their voices,
mm-hmm.
but like they're obviously, we talked about this before. They're obviously speaking English. You can see their words, match up.
Right.
We've seen characters that speak Chinese in this show, and you could tell it's overdubbed. But like, they speak English. Her performance in particular is so good.
It is.
She just looks at him like, yeah, like we're immune to that. So sorry.
I
like
love
kind
it.
of like in a very bratty way, and it's just so good. And Donnie's on hush mouth.
He is.
Well, he should be on hush mouth, but he's just blabbering. Well, it's all UV light. It's the same as sunlight. It's the same as sunlight. And she's like, don't give a shit, and like kicks shit out of him. She's like, see ya.
But
like,
what I love is that like she says it in a way that they have had to they've experienced this before, which means that either A, they've gone to tanning beds. One of the vampires was like, I want a tan, but like I want my skin darker. Let me try it. Oh, we're immune. Turns out. Or there's been another vampire hunter that's tried the exact same thing, and they also learned, because somehow they had to learn they were immune to
these
beds.
Bros living at night for like Chi-Chu and Bing for over 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, they figured out shit a long time ago.
Oh,
They were probably like walking in some alley in like 1890, and like someone hit them with like the first flash bulb ever made.
Oh,
like for
true.
a camera.
Yeah.
And they just went, and they go, oh shit.
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they probably saw their first like street lamps. Electric
that's
street
true
lamps.
too.
Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Hey, this isn't bad.
Oh yeah.
And then like they probably had like black light, which is UV light. Like sometime in the 60s, they were like chilling, and some dirty ass hippies were like, bro, check out my poster, bro. And they're like, oh shit. And they go, no.
Right.
That doesn't work. Also, every single wannabe Van Helsing who ran around with like, oh, here's a stake to the heart. They're like, nope.
Right. Yeah.
Like, here's some garlic. Nope.
Here's that
like,
wood allergy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool because it does feel like they're long lived. But you're right about how they're kind of like almost like they're like, we should put together an FAQ at some point so people stop asking us the same questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I love how none of this works. Like Mikey rolls up with the juice gun. The garlic juice,
and it gets Bing again in the face.
Just, Bing just gets from the windows to the walls. Like he's a Dreamcast this episode. You know what I mean? Like it's all Dreamcast all the time over here. And he gets done with that, and he's like, well, that's gross, but also doesn't work.
Yeah.
So none of Donnie's devices work.
None.
Which is pretty great. So Bone Steel pulls up in his van, and he's like, all right, well, enough of this shit. And gets his little blowgun out.
Yes.
Named Elizabeth, by the way.
Yep.
Walrus tranquilizer. You know what I'm saying? And he hits Raph with some of that dirty insulin. Raph goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Venus is trying to convince herself that it's Shinobi time.
She's trying to, yes.
And she finally launches, and this is also really good. She launches a fireball. And it's like the weakest little boy fireball ever. And like Van Mee catches it and like kind of like caresses it, like, oh,
yeah,
that's super sweet. And she just extinguishes it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like blows it out like a birthday candle. She's like, okay, cool. And that was badass.
Yes.
Like, do you remember I can't remember which Mass Effect game it is, but there's a Volus who starts taking all these like illegal bionic drugs that it's like a thing where you have to go find these people who are selling these bionic drugs.
Okay.
And there's a Volus, like, the super short little like banker guys.
Yeah.
Like Earth Clan, like remember them and everything like that. I love it because is taking all this bionic shit because he wants to be a bionic dude.
Mm-hmm.
So you face this fight where you go like, oh, he's like starting to power up. You're like, oh shit, this Volus is gonna start bionic attacking me.
Right.
And he just puts out this little fart of a bionic ball.
Yeah.
That just like lazily like hits the ground and does nothing, and that's it. Like that's what I love that scene so much, and that's literally what Venus did.
Oh yeah. God bless her.
So Splinter and Venus see Bone Steel from like maybe 100 feet away.
Yeah, no distance, like nothing.
Where they're standing fighting the vampires. We see him just carry Mike and Raph up to his van and load him in. Like he's just like collecting turtles and no one notices.
Yeah, full grown. Now this is a man that's probably like he's probably like a 6 foot, like what would you put on him? Like 200 something pounds. Dude who not only who can scale a wall and is a hunter. So he's got a build to him. Like he's not like your average Joe. The turtles are roughly about 20 like years old maybe, and they got away probably like 300 to 400 pounds with their shell.
Probably.
He's picking up both of them, not at the same time, but he's picking them up and putting them in the van. Now, like you said,
and not in like the back, like the open back. He's putting them into like doors.
Yes.
Like into seats and shit. And you're like, how? And dude, like he's crazy, dude.
Yes. And nobody, old dad's there. He ain't doing nothing. Nope. None of the other turtles are doing nothing.
No, they all lost sight of the prize because like Venus had to do her magic show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the turtles got to be a little bit like, yeah, you and old dad were worried about the magic, and like it was nothing. Meanwhile, we got did.
Yes.
And Bone Steel gets them all.
He does.
Spoiler alert. He gets all 4 of them.
All 4 of them.
Collect them all. Like, it's crazy. Like, he's going to be the very best. You know what I mean? And he did collect them all.
Like no one ever was.
You know what I mean? All the OG turtles.
All
he got them.
He got all the
went
Renaissance.
To the tall grass and got that shit. You know what I mean?
Suddenly all 4 Renaissance turtles appeared.
Suddenly, yeah. And it turns out Walrus tranquilizer very effective.
Super effective.
Yeah, super effective. So
that's amazing.
The fight breaks up. Splinter and Venus peace out. Splinter throws the little device at Van Mee. Van Mee thinks she's got the heart. Turns out, opens up, she's gone.
She's gone, and she's got 4 hours.
Got 4 hours. So back at Bone Steel's camp, all 4 turtles are captured. Bone Steel, says some like weird shit about like turning turtle bones into flutes, and he's gonna do this and that. He's basically gonna kill him. Back in the turtle lair, Venus is like super mad about she's failed her shinobi arts, she just keeps remembering Van Mee saying that she's a child, she's no shinobi, like all this stuff's mounting to a head. And Splinter tries to console her, saying like, she may not be a great conjurer, but she can learn, and a lot of her abilities are even better, and she can communicate with the heart telepathically if she tried, maybe, because her like astral skills are like way better than her like fireball Aruken fucking like
Hadouken. Yeah.
Hadouken, yeah. She can't do sonic boom, but I mean she can like sonic talk to that heart in her head, right? So she's like, that's not a bad idea.
Sure.
So back at the ambassador discusses her next move, and Van Mee literally has one more move in her bag because she's like, this sucks. Like, I can't get my heart back. She wants to summon the Grand Prince of the First Blood. That's right, the Elder Vampire.
Yes.
Van Mee and Bing immediately are like, are you absolutely kidding me? Number one, he's crazy.
Yes.
They say this, like, he might just eat us.
Right.
Like we don't know what's going to happen if you do this. And Van Mee's like, get me the candles to summon the old man. I don't give a shit. Like, it's real bad. I hope he's just in a good mood, because to her, it's house money. He's like, I'm dying anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to call old dad. Like I'm done.
What does she have to lose?
She had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So we get back to Bone Steel's camp, and this whole thing happens. He's about to kill Raph. And Raph's like, hey, check it out. If you kill all of us, Venus is going to run off. She's going to get spooked. I don't know about you, but just having 4 dudes, like, that's weak. Wouldn't you rather have her? And he's like, well, I guess. And this kind of calls back to the time that, like, that they like outsmarted Bone Steel the first time they met him.
Yes.
They made him. They got his mind so messed up. He was doing impressions of himself and shit. It was crazy.
Right.
So Raph convinces Bone Steel to let him go, so he can find Venus. And Bone Steel's like, "Well, you're only in it for you," and he's like, "Absolutely, only in it for me." And it's a bit of a bluff because like Leo and the Turtles like, "No way, dude! Oh my god, you're such a traitor." He's like, "Yeah, fuck you guys." Like,
yeah,
dude, I'm looking to live. Like, y'all are dumb as fuck. Like, I don't know. And they're like, "Oh no!" And that almost convinces Bone Steel. Bone Steel's like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, prove your loyalty. And he gives him Mother Wood, which is his cartoon wooden sledgehammer.
Yes.
And he says, kill Leo, basically.
Yeah.
And then I'll know you're for real. And then we'll go worry about the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Leo's like, oh, it's going to happen. But of course, Raph hits Bone Steel with it instead.
Yep.
Then Bone Steel shoots a tranquilizer at Raph. And it bounces, ricochets a million times, lands in Bone Steel's ass, knocking him out.
Yep.
So turns out turtles are free, and it's all good. Back at the Ambassador, Van Mee conjures the Grand Prince of the First Blood, who I was very upset did not appear as another actor. I really wanted to see what this cat would look like, but obviously they're like, we ain't up to this task, not for like a 2-minute thing. Like, we're not gonna make a whole other thing.
The way they did it, the way they built it up,
purple wall.
It felt like they were going to. This could be a part 5. Like that's the way it was like kind of written.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they bring him into the picture, and he's gonna try to fix this.
Yeah, if they would have like compressed what we have of episode 3, or in this 3-parter, and added and expounded upon this, that would have been way better. But yeah, we get this.
That's what I'm saying.
Fall. Yeah,
but it is what it is. So so Van Mee conjures him, and he rolls up as a big ball of pink energy, and sounds like a weird, like old English dude.
Yeah.
He just sounds like he's like, what sort of unnatural beasts, And she's like, oh, they're turtles, and there's like some shame. He's like, turtles, seriously? And she's like, they're big turtles. Like, come on, help me out, bud.
Yeah.
And he's still not cool with it. So we don't know where that lays. Back in the turtle lair, the turtles return from being captured and are kind of like snarky about not getting rescued by anybody. They're like, we're going to be turtle soup dead ass. But like from the beginning until we got turned into turtle soup a minute ago, but we had to free ourselves through some rickety business.
Yes.
And Splinter won't hear that shit.
No.
Splinter's like, shh, Venus is working on stuff. And they're like, oh, Venus is working on stuff. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Venus, you know what
I
mean?
And so like, but he, in that scene where he tells them to shh, there's these drawings in the background. You see that, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Who drew those? Why are they hanging up?
They're earlier. They're in earlier screenshots too. They're earlier in the show. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
That sounds like that's some Billy Madison shit.
It is. However,
like Mikey had to go back to like kindergarten to like prove to his father he's not a fool.
Right. Well, you would think it was Michelangelo, but there's precedence for someone who does draw with crayons. And it's your boy Raphael. And your boy Raphael.
Raph was drawing some different. That is some weird. I don't know why that's in the background.
I don't either.
That makes no sense. Like shit's not like a daycare, bro. And it's big too, dude. It ain't like something somebody drew on a napkin or something.
Right? Yeah. No, this
like,
isn't like just like
that's
a piece
like
of paper.
Like a damn big piece of art. Like a 3-year-old made that. It's crazy.
It looks like something you'd have on an easel, like an actual art easel.
Yeah. No, it looks like something you find in a kindergarten room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering what that was too. It's part of that like training set. So they have like a new set that's like for like them shooting their guns and shit. I think that's on there.
If that's
it's real weird though.
If that's part of their training set, then are those the kids that they're not supposed to shoot? Like, is that how that is?
Oh, like yeah, it's like lethal enforcers, bro. And like when that woman like goes across in her little pantsuit, you're like, oh, can't shoot her.
Right? Yeah, don't shoot them. I mean? Like, yeah, do not ambulate.
Yeah, do not ambulate. That's weird, man.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I was trying to see if there was any more, but I think that was it. But yeah,
I think that's it.
That's the details that I would come to Turtle Soup for. Is that right there? I want to know. I want to know all that. Like, let us know in the comments or send us email. Let us know what you think about these drawings and who did it and what they mean.
I
don't know. I don't either. But
I don't know. Maybe that's like someone's like, because they look like they're almost like they're like translucent.
They do.
It almost looks like somebody's like awful attempt at like stained glass or something. I don't know. I have no idea. If I try to do stained glass, that's what it looked like probably. So
exactly.
That girl's eyes follow you around the room. I'm like, yeah, that was the whole point. That was the whole point. So back at the ambassador, Van Mee is conjuring the master, and Chi-Chu and Bing are like cowering behind cover, like, God, she did it. Oh, goddamn, he's going to kill us. Oh, shit. And it's funny because he's all good with it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's real stupid, man. Like, I guess. He's like, I'll throw you a bone. I'm going to transport you right to where the heart is.
Right.
Like, and you got one more shot. And if not, you're not worth like trying to be a vampire anyway. So prepare for a mystical journey. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, cool. And she does. She beams up Scotty and right in the sewer. Now, this is the part that's weird to me.
Yes.
So there's no preparation here. The turtles just got back like from being like damn near killed by Bone Steel.
Yes.
And Venus is just practicing her shinobi, trying to talk to the heart. And all of a sudden Van Mee is like down here.
Yes.
Like down here. Like, let's go. Well, the turtles seem to know exactly where she's going to be. Maybe that's supposed to be Venus communicating through the heart and like knowing that Van Mee, like the heart knows somehow that Van Mee is going to like warp down to the sewer right where the heart is. And Venus knew this when she was communicating with the heart back when the turtles showed up and they're like, what the fuck? Like, oh, that sucks. Maybe she like knew all this and like organized this plan, but it is never acknowledged. And it seems like you just had last episode, which could have had half of it cut out and it wouldn't have mattered anything. And this episode at the end feels really rushed.
It does.
Which you'll see why that's annoying in a second. So she pops down to the sewer. She reaches out for the heart, but she's like burned by light coming from somewhere. That's when Mikey removes the manhole cover to reveal that it's morning. And the other turtles turn up with mirrors.
Yes.
And they reflect all the light on her, and she gets burned up like a dang old Lisa Barangi.
Like Lisa Barangi. Dang old piece of toast.
She is burned up like a dang old piece of toast, dead as a doornail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you, girl. I got you, girl. Like, literally, like.
Just like that. Nothing.
And she just yells, my heart, and turns into dust. And that's how Van Mee dies.
Then Venus. No, she says that, and then Venus comes in with this.
Technically, it's my heart now.
That hit pretty hard.
She's like, that's my shit. And like, and here's the other thing. Eric points out in these notes. It's a second death by way of a reflection.
Yes. I forgot about that. Yes.
I read that. I was like, that's a great point.
Yes.
Like, yes, it is the second time someone was killed with a reflection. Of something else. Which is
probably a meta-textual thing about
something,
us.
Man.
Something's in there.
Something's in there. And it's weird.
And then your boy coming in with this.
Oh, yeah. He's like, possession is not intensive to the law, actually. So if you think about it. And she's like,
I love it. This is not the time or place, Donnie. We just had a sentimental moment.
Yeah, you're out. So back at the ambassador, we get a little wrap up. Chi-Chu and Bing have an urn with all of Van Mee's ashes.
How did they get this?
I love it.
Did the turtle scoop it up? What did they do?
They probably just left her there to rot, and then they were like, well, let's get down there and figure that out.
But how did they know where
she is? Chi-Chu and Bing have mysterious ways.
How do they know where she is? Because they've been trying to find the heart in the sewer this entire time and couldn't. They had to get the Grandmaster to do it.
Well, maybe without Van Mee, they're better.
Okay, that's a good point.
Like, without Van Mee, they're like, or maybe they could sense like her essence of like where she went. Like, okay. like they, or hell, they might be drawn to her ashes.
Yeah.
She's their master.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And they may be drawn to what's left of her body. There's all kind. I mean, The turtles have like 800 mirrors downstairs for no reason.
Yeah, where did they get those? Who flushes a mirror down the toilet?
She pops in, yeah, right. And she pops in like right under a manhole cover, and it's also morning.
It's also,
but morning. Whatever, right? I mean, but but Chi-Chu and Bing don't know where the ashes are. Like, I mean,
that's
like
the big problem here.
Yeah, this I hate this 4-parter because of this. Like, like how would you even know there's a huge sewer system? How would you even know?
Right.
But yeah, Chi-Chu asks, like, is this Oliver? And they're like, yeah. And then they say, and Bing's like, we going back to China? And he's like, and Chi-Chu's like, nah, son, we stay. Home is where the heart is.
That's so good.
Sets the urn down, like, on like a very unsteady looking like stuffed chair. And I'm like, that looks like when my son like goes like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I can leave. And he gets up and puts his Mountain Dew just on the center of the couch, like cushion. And you're like,
no,
what?
That's a recipe for zest.
That's going to fall over. Like, I don't even know if it could stand there without your hand on it, frankly.
Right.
Like, but yeah, I'm like, don't, you're going to hear it. And you do hear a little faint cry from inside the urn,
Yeah.
And so back in the lair, Venus does a recap of the story. It's kind of like from her perspective.
Right.
This mirrors her earlier, like at the end of East Meets West, when she's officially like joined the family.
Yeah.
She has a very similar monologue with like cut shots over it, where she says, oh, I'm part of the family. Yeah. Now she kind of says like she really has a family. It's kind of an echo of that, really.
It is.
And that she could be a shinobi. And she says Chung-Yi didn't teach her everything, so now she has to learn it on her own. But she's really a shinobi, and she kind of names everybody, like Mikey the Joker, and Leo the leader, and like all this different stuff. And and she calls Splinter her new master, which is kind of like a cool thing. Cool. And that's kind of the end of it. Like, it's kind of a little wrap up, and kind of goes right back to Venus being shinobi, effectively.
Yeah.
And that's your Unchained My Heart.
Unchained My Heart 4-parter.
What were your thoughts, buddy?
Woo! I did not expect the ending of this to hit as hard as what it did.
No.
That when the reflection thing got me, and then the when she says my heart, and then Venus goes, well, technically it's my heart now. Like that.
Oh, man.
That just got me. Just, oh my Lord. Like, I don't even know. And so that was rough. And but I loved how it resolved. I loved that Chi-Chu and Bing are like, no, we're gonna stay here. It's fine.
Yep.
Loved that. I agree with you that I wish that the Grand Master Vampire, whatever his name was, that he would have been a person or something. Who knows? We might see him again. I would be very happy to see him again. But I loved Van Mee. I thought she was a great character, and in the sense that, granted, she was a lot of one note because she's trying to get her heart back. But I mean, like, you can't blame somebody for that. And
she played it really well, though, being like over dramatic, and like her whole like plasma drinking binge she went on, where she got all drunk on the plasma. And they're like, "This is below you." They were great.
They were excellent. And then the fight scene in this was hella fun. Like, once they got combined and joined forces, which is one of my favorite tropes in all of like superhero fiction, specifically when Darkwing Duck had his all of his supervillains get together under Negaduck.
His like rogues gallery kind of thing.
And they did all that. I loved that as a kid, and I always loved it in comics and any kind of fiction where that happens. But I think this was a good example of it working, and seeing Donnie, like, just all of his stuff fall apart. Like, that was excellent.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. And then as a whole, it was fun. Now, granted, it doesn't make a lot of sense in the sense that, like, we've said countless times, just lock the heart up and leave it alone. Like, you don't have to go through
put
this.
It in a safe. Like, she can't sense it from up top, so like you're good.
The only the only thing I could see in a story, and they kind of, and that's pretty much what they do, but you're putting a little bit on it from our perspective. If they would have done it in the writing, it would have, and I guess they kind of did, but if they would have made it to where it was Leo and Venus's journeys were mirrored. So Leo was being challenged by Bone Steel, even though Bone Steel didn't realize he was challenging Leo. Bone Steel put Leo on his back foot, thinking that, he wasn't as great because he keeps getting caught off guard. Venus and the heart and the shinobi stuff, like that's what it ended up being. But I think they could have written it better to where Venus, it just was. I think they could have articulated it a little bit better, unlike what I'm doing now.
I agree. It was a little lumpy in parts, right?
Yeah.
Like this was always about. This is always going to be like a mainly Venus focused like 4-part thing because it's about the vampire and shinobi and Chang'e and stuff.
Yeah.
But it felt like that narrative kind of fell apart sometimes, right?
Yeah. Like, the part where the turtles are taking it actively away from Venus? Like, remember that when they stole it in the middle of the night?
You have the ultimate betrayal?
Yeah. If that had been reversed, so if the turtles were saying, no, Venus, like I get it's your shinobi thing to take care of this, but like we could just and Venus is the one that was trying to get it out to actually try to fulfill her shinobi thing. I think that would have made the whole show better, like the whole thing, which is way better. And so, but
I agree.
Whatever. So, how do you feel about the end of this episode?
I mean, overall, I gotta say this. I really appreciate it for the fact that Chi-Chu, Bing, and Van Mi were awesome.
Yes.
It's such a cool change in villain. Like they're different. Like the idea to have Chang'e, Chi-Chu, it's all
It's all
But to have Chi-Chu and Bing as her like side characters, they're probably two of my favorite bad guy sidekicks in TMNT lore.
Yeah.
Like
that's fair.
They're actually cool as hell. The thing I love about universe building and the thing I love like that can really get me going is when they institute characters that I'm drawn to enough that I want more of them. Oh, like, I'm kind of like, man, I'm hoping we see them again.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And this show has done that with Bone Steel and stuff like that, and Silverback. Like, I mean, a lot of these shows, all of these guys that come out, like you do wind up going, like, I really hope they come back, right? It's such a marked change from the 87 animated series, which to a lot of people is the only things that Turtles did before this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Having really just Shredder and Krang, and like some random, very rare other villains.
Yeah.
But not really. Right. I really appreciated that. And I think MVPs are the vampires here. They were so good. And it had so many great moments. Like that time Bone Steel, like dead ass told like Bing, like, I kill people like you every day.
Yeah. Remember when he snuck up on him?
Like,
when Bing snuck up
that scene was so good.
That was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I've killed you across like all 7 continents. Like, I was just like, damn, like
world building, like you said,
character building for him.
That's so, and it was just one line. That was all it was.
It was just one line. It was so
excellent,
good and unexpected.
Yes.
So I really love the villains in this series, and I do appreciate the attempt to explore and further deepen Venus's character and the shinobi stuff.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think it could have been executed a lot better. It could have been a straight through line with it, and it doesn't feel like that. Like they feel like that got picked up and dropped at different times.
Yes.
Whereas like if you go back to East Meets West, I feel like at the end when Venus has that voiceover, you feel it more in there because it is really about Venus becoming part of the family. Here, picked up and dropped, but still mainly put through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I really liked it. I think the villains really made it. I think that Chi-Chu, Bing, and Van Mi were great.
Yes.
And such a breath of fresh air.
Oh, definitely.
And we're so lucky that they weren't just here for like one episode. We don't know if they come back.
Yeah.
But if they were here for a 4-parter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they needed that amount of runway to really show off like how cool they are.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So overall, I really enjoyed it. I think they were some of the most enjoyable episodes I've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, like this series, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just you and me. I don't know if these people that are watching this show are watching it just by themselves and not enjoying it with a community. Because
maybe.
like I'm not even just faking this because we get paid to do this show from turtles.com, but no, I'm kidding. But like all turtles pay us. Like that's a whole thing in the animal world. Anyway,
straight up.
But no, they but like I'm thoroughly enjoying this so far. I get the criticisms. I get that it's cheesy.
Yeah.
I get the sound effects are kind of annoying sometimes, but there's a lot of really good stuff that's in here, and the bad stuff that's in here is also probably just as equally as bad as what's in the 87 animated series. So like,
Probably.
I mean, as a whole, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really this show so far. What are we in? 16 episodes in. Like, it's endeared itself to me to where I really actually like this. So I mean, but and that's Turtle Soup for you. Turtle Soup. It'll old drink, new drink this thing. That the stuff you thought you were like, oh, the image run's just god awful. It's just terrible. And we're like, oh, actually, no, I kind of liked it a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
like I mean, like I think we have seen the brighter side of a lot of this.
Yeah,
which is pretty great.
So, but then what's interesting is that it makes me wonder if the really good stuff, the stuff that I enjoyed from the 2000s on, if that's going to have a different take, like what that's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I thought this was going to be garbage, the stuff. So I'm eagerly anticipating that. So yeah, well,
nice.
Guys, thanks again so much for watching. Let us know in the comments, and also email us, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com, your thoughts on this 4-parter. What did you think? Are you still loving or hating Next Mutation? Has anything we said like broadened your horizons, if you will, or made you see things in a different light out of a soup manhole cover because it's daylight now? Let us know. turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You could also find all of our episodes on the internet, wherever podcasts are listened to, as well as turtlesoupshow.com. No, I about said .blogspot. Jeez, that's forever ago.
Man, you listen to those old episodes.
I know,
that's what that is.
That's what that was. So yeah, turtlesoupshow.com, and then you can find all them up there. And yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook. Join the group. Lots of cool people in the group talking about all kinds of cool stuff, and we really appreciate all of them. We call them family. And then we also are on Patreon. We call them family. I guess, maybe, I don't know, but they're the ones that keep the lights on and keep it daylight. They keep it sunrise all the time here. It's always 12 p.m. here, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Van Me and Chichu and Bing can't sneak up on us.
Can't sneak up on us because
it's always high noon.
It's always high noon here at the
you know what I mean?
Yep, they keep us.
You
from
can get
staying
6 to midnight, or you can get 6 to noon.
6 to noon,
as
exactly.
Well.
Right.
I mean, broken junks, right? Twice a day.
Broken junk. Oh my goodness! So, there you go. Can't argue with that.
Well,
numbers don't lie.
Well, I mean, if it's like you got 2 dits,
right? If you got right, exactly.
You could be 6 to midnight, 6 to noon.
It's true. I mean, it's
morning shift, night shift.
It's midnight somewhere.
It's midnight somewhere.
So,
oh my God.
So if you want to stay 6 to midnight, you can always go to patreon.com.
Yeah.
Find Turtle Soup's been making a podcast, and we send out some cool stuff every 6 months, and got a lot of cool people on there helping us out, throwing pennies our way, keeping the lights on, like we said. And thank you so much to all of them. We really appreciate you. And I think that's it. So yeah, we should be back hopefully next week, but we'll keep you posted. And until then,
yeah,
else time.
Else time.